Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to DQ Labs Design Quotient Industry E-Meet number 24. DQ Labs Design Quotient Labs deeply believe that design has the power to make the lives of millions of people simple, beautiful, efficient, and memorable. With this belief, the founders of DQ Labs, Sean Disa and Umesh Kumar, alumni of IIT Delhi, having a collective design industry experience of about 40 plus man years, have embarked on a journey to create design superheroes. In the last 13 years, they have mentored more than 12,000 plus students in creative careers. They are trying to achieve it by giving awareness, exposure, counseling, training, and mentoring to design aspirants, not only to get into top architecture, design, and fashion schools all across the world, but also going beyond to help them settle in their professional careers. Many aspiring design students and their parents are unaware of the creative professions and hence have many questions. To bridge this gap, each week DQ Labs invites creative professionals in the fields of architecture, fashion, and design. The invited creative professionals explain about one of their projects, the challenges they have gone through while executing their design projects, the design process they have adopted, and many more interesting aspects of their profession. They also talk about their story of becoming who they are and who they are now. Today we have with us Satyajit Kulkarni, who is a senior Alias automotive modeler and has about 7 years experience, professional experience with Estech design, France and India. He has carried out projects with clients such as Renault, Citroen, Maruti Suzuki, Mahindra and Ashok Leyland. Satyajit has done his masters in automobile design from DSK ISD International School of Design and currently works as an assistant professor for CAD studies at DYPDC Centre for Automotive Research. He is one of the persons who has taken his passion and converted into a professional career. So let's welcome Satyajit Kulkarni. Satyajit?
Thank you, Tejas. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, I am Satyajit Kulkarni. I am a senior Alias automotive modeler working since 7 years in the Indian and the European automotive industry. And I thank you, DQ Labs, for inviting me uh, for sharing my design journey till now. I hope I can share you a little bit the glimpse of my automotive world, my automotive design journey through this presentation. I would like to take you all through my automotive journey now. Okay, is the presentation visible, Tejas?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You can go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so my uh, education began from Pune. I am from Pune. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in physics from University of Pune. After that, I always wanted to be an automotive designer since I was in school. Um, After my bachelor's degree, I attended Masters of Automotive Design in DSK International School of Design. Now they had a joint venture with ISD of France. It is in this place that I learned what really is automotive design and what really on the international automotive scene happens in this field. After that, after completing my degree, I got an internship in China. I stayed in China for around 8 to 9 months in Beijing, where I worked with Mercedes-Benz Advanced Design Center of Beijing. After completion of that, I got an offer from Estech Design in France. Estech is a very good consultancy, design consultancy. They work in 3D design as well as prototyping and transportation design. Estech was established in 2010 in France. I started my journey from France. It's in a city called Buc, which is 17 kilometers from Paris. Now, Estech has worked on a lot of exciting products, as you can see on the right side. I had also chance to work on the Renault Trezor concept car, and on the left side you will see all the clients that they work with currently. In 2013, Estech moved to India, and I was the first employee of Estech India, and I started the team, which has now grown up to 25 to 30 Alias modelers in India. Estech India is situated in Pune. So this is the design vision that I have, the values that I inculcated. Persistent, you have to be persistent when you are in the automotive industry. It is not like you just press a button and you have the solution ready. You have to go at it again and again. It is never it never happens in just one go. You have to be a team worker. Always you have to depend on a big team. You can never be isolated and expect that you will get the result. Sometimes you have to think out of the box, creative solutions. You have to have self-discipline. By self-discipline, what I mean, even if nobody is looking at you, you can't cut corners in this field. You have to be particular about everything in automotive industry, even small nuts and bolts. In the European automotive scene, the most important things that I learned was the detail, attention to detail, and they helped me to build my vision as an observer. So I will advise all the future design aspirants to inculcate these values to be a successful automotive designer. So in the world of automotive design, many people have the idea that, okay, we can just sketch on the paper and then it is done. No, it is not so. Sketching is just a small part of automotive design. It starts with sketching, no doubt. That is how you put your ideas on the paper. How do you communicate your ideas to the world? Let's say you have a very radical design in your mind, but you have to effectively communicate that through some medium to the world. So in this industry, you can be a designer, stylist, or a 3D modeler. Alias is a software which is used for modeling. You can be a clay modeler. Now, there is a dedicated section for color and trim and CMF, which is a very fresh and it's growing rapidly. Design engineering is a part where all the mechanical aspects of a car are made. And now UI UX design. Now this is growing by leaps and bounds. This is the section that you have to look out for in the future. This, like anything, you will see in the following slides. Okay, so what is the design process that is followed in the industry? We start with a sketch. Then there is a refined sketch which will give us an idea of how the car will look in the final form. Then the data is handled to us, the digital modelers, in the third stage, and from there we give it to the clay modelers and the engineering team, and that is where actually the real car starts to take shape. So we Alias modelers, we are the people who convert the idea from the paper to reality. We bring concepts to life, and in the end, if everything goes perfectly, you will see the finished car on the road. The green area that I've highlighted is the area where Alias modelers work. These are some of the softwares that are used by the leading companies. There are some softwares which are used for 3D modeling, like Autodesk Alias, Maya, and iSemSurf. iSemSurf is a German software which is now acquired by the French company Dassault Systems. Dassault also makes fighter jets. There are many different types of 3D softwares, which are like polygon, nerves, volumetric, solid modeling. These are different categories of 3D modeling, and you will see them, what they are. Then again, in two-dimensional sketching, we have Photoshop, Autodesk Sketchbook, and for the rendering, there are now new softwares coming, which is called as real-time rendering software, which are keyshot and V-Red. So this is the process that usually is followed in the automotive industry, from sketch to 3D and render. Renders are made so that people can understand, even before people can understand how the car will look in the real life. I would like to share a small video with you.
Satyajit, I think there is some issue with the video.
Can you see the video?
Not really.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, so the video that you saw was for a software called as Autodesk Alias Studio. So in my presentation, I will be going through my projects from college, my professional projects and my personal project. So let's start with my college project. Okay, so in the beginning, we were told to study the existing objects and to replicate the same object in 3D software. So the software is not just used in automotive industry. We can use it anywhere where we need to create some nice 3D sculpted shapes. So our first assignment was to create a camera, and after creating the camera, create all the details and then import that product into a software called as Maya. And then what Maya does is we can add colors and lights, and then you get a photorealistic render from Maya. This is not a photo, but this is a render created by Maya software. In this software, we can put textures, lights, shadows, text, anything. Sky is the limit. So this was one of the most important project in my college life. There was a Ferrari design competition held in 2011. 50 colleges from all over the world participated in this. Our college was one of the participants. We were one of the finalists of this competition. This was the car that we made for the competition. And one of my friend Adhiraj, he helped me to model the car. So we did a 3D model from scratch. So on the left side, you will see how it looks as a primitive model. And as it progresses, slowly we add on details. Every single thing has to be made in this software. Every single nut and bolt you see has been manually modeled by us. After this, you have to present it to a team, and it's called as a communication render, and that also is handled by the Maya software. So a huge poster of this car was made in our college, and we also sent this data to Ferrari in Italy. Sadly, we did not win the final round, but in our college, this was very well received. The concept of this car was at high speeds, the black part that you see, it morphs and it changes shape. And let's see if something like this happens in the future. We also had a visit from a Swiss watchmaker and Louis Vuitton and a product designer from France. So I was the team leader in this product, and they wanted to design a luxury watch which was inspired by Lamborghini Reventon. So again, this is how we work in the Alias software. First, we make a volume, then slowly we start giving it some shape and then adding small details. Now, in this, once the volume is made, we can share this file with the whole team. And when the whole team has the same file, they can keep on adding details on their own. This is one of the advantage of the 3D software. You can move around the data through all the team, and all the team will assemble small parts. And in the end, we will get the finished product. Again, when you have to communicate this thing to the design team, you have to do a render, because we can't show this 3D model like this. We have to put some lights, some texture, and we have to make it look interesting. So this was the render that we created. Again, Maya. So you see, Maya is extremely powerful software. Even some renders that you might see in magazine or TV or commercials, they might be done on Maya also. They are not 100% real. This rendering was well received by all of the team, and they said that it looks exactly like a page from a luxury magazine. These are some of the projects that I have done in another software, which are called as polygon modeling software. Now, polygon modeling software is used for video games and movies and special effects. Polygon data can be moved very fast on the screen, which is not the case with Alias data. Alias is called a NURB data, which is different. So after that, I moved on to Estech design. I started in France. I started in 2011 in France, and in 2013, they moved to India. So along with them, I moved back to India, and then we started working on our clients. This was the first project that I worked on, Renault. We did not change a lot on the exterior design. Just minor details were changed. This is an existing model which is made by a company called Dacia. Dacia is a Romanian company which was acquired by Renault. And Dacia Logi, they changed and modified it to fit the Indian male and female geometry. And it was called as Renault Logi in India. So in this, the door panels and the front of the grille on the exterior, I have worked on that parts. It was just the first project, so it was not difficult project, but moderately difficult. Okay, this was one of the biggest project in Estech, the version 1 quid and the version 2 quid. On the version 2, I worked on the interiors a lot. On the version 1, I worked on the exterior. On the front grille, the design that you see and the chrome inserts that you see on the top end model have been modeled by me. The production data has been done by me. We have worked on a lot of parts of this car. This was one of the most difficult projects. because this was a completely new category that Renault was entering into. They wanted to create an SUV like effect on a small car. But in the end, the result was quite satisfactory and this was well received in India. Again, Alias was used. The renderings are not done by me, they are done by Renault. They have their proprietary softwares for rendering. This was the last Renault project that I worked on, the Duster. And we worked only on the front part of the car. It was a facelift. We did not change drastically any exterior body. Again, this is a Dacia Duster, which is made in Romania. And since Renault owns Dacia, they sell it as the Renault Duster in India. This was a short project and this took around 3 months. This is the project that I'm very proud of. We will now be seeing this car on the road next year. And I'm very happy to say that I worked on this project from concept, production, exterior, interior, all the things I have worked on this. So I have seen when this car was sketched, and now I have seen how this car looks on the road. Luckily, yesterday they have posted some spy pics of this car, and we'll be seeing this car next year. This is a competitor to the Ford EcoSport category of vehicles, sub 4 meter SUV. So this was a concept car which they showed in Auto Expo 2018. And I have worked on the interior of this car, the seats, front seat, rear seat, and the door trim. Also in the future, there are 2 new cars coming from Mahindra, which are very exciting. And I am proud to be a part of that, a small part of that. I hope to see those 2 cars next year. This was a very challenging project for us. This was the first project for Estech, and we worked on the Celerio. And we learned quite a lot, new methods. Each company has different methods. So we were not familiar with the Maruti Suzuki method. And then in the beginning, they had a small training session with us in which they told how to go about. And after that, they gave us the new facelift of the Vitara Brezza, which I worked on the concept stage. The Celerio project was quite long, but the Vitara Brezza project was not so long, maybe one month. I have also worked with Estech and Ashok Leyland. Ashok Leyland is a client of Estech India, and Ashok Leyland has one of the best working environment in India. Their design team is one of the best in India. Working on these products was huge fun. Again, on the school bus, the Sunshine, I have worked from the concept phase, and on the left side, we see a vehicle called Dost. Okay, so that was a brief summary of my professional projects. I cannot show you all the details because all the data is classified. I can only show you the finished projects. Now, sadly, in March 2020, we were hit by a lockdown. All you can see, the COVID pandemic. Then people started working from home. Suddenly, we had free time after office. We did not do traveling like we do after office. And in this time, I decided to again brush up my skills. Last year in 2019, I joined DYPDC Centre for Automotive Research in Pune. I left the job in Estech and I started to teach Alias in DYPDC. Now, this was a project that I wanted to do for a long time. When anyone asks, is there any Indian car that you're really proud of on a global stage? The answer is no. It is a very sad thing. But slowly we are moving in that direction and we will see a very performance oriented vehicle from an Indian manufacturer soon. So I wanted to do this since a long time. Let's imagine there is an Indian supercar like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. And if there was a supercar in India, what is the machine that it can be inspired from? So what is the most powerful machine that we can be proud of as an Indian? So why not the Sukhoi jet fighter that the Indian Army uses? Although it is made by Russia, the new MKI version is made in India. A lot of people don't know this, but the MKI version was specially designed for India, and Sukhoi works in India, and they make this plane in India. So now just imagine how it would be that if Sukhoi landed on the road and you can drive it as a sports car or a supercar. So I call this concept as the fighter. The Marathi font or Devanagari font was created by my friend who is a graphic designer. You can check his work. You can Google his name on Behance. So now imagine. So I'm not a transportation designer, classical transportation designer, but I am more of an Alias modeler. So these are not the best sketches that I have right now, but these are some of the sketches. Like there are hundreds and hundreds of sketches that I made. So the basic concept of this car was an enclosed cockpit like a jet fighter, and the driver is sitting in the center, and there are two big engines on the side from which the air is taken in, and it gives the effect of a jet fighter. So this was the project that I did in the lockdown period. Each and every line has been remade, let's say at least 10 times. It never happens that you just press a button in this software and the car is done. You have to create a line, then look at it from every angle in 3D, again change it, again look at it, again build some surfaces, again analyze it from all the angles, how the light is flowing. So if you see the black and white image on the right corner, that is called a zebra shader in the software. This shader is used to analyze how the light flows on the car. So if you see unbroken black lines, that means your model is good. If you see the lines are breaking somewhere, that means it is not good. How the metal will react in real world. On the left side, there is a brown model, which is a clay shader. So this is how the model will look as a clay model. Most of the car companies in India, they use this method. In this, you have to pay attention on the dark and the light areas, how they are balanced, and that is how you study a clay model. So after modeling, we import the 3D model into a real-time rendering software. Now this is a very good new area in which quite a breakthrough is happening. In the real-time rendering software, you import your model and you just assign colors. In Maya, it was old school method in which you created the color, you created the reflection on the color, you created the bump map, how scratches will look on it, and then you applied it. Then you created artificial lights. But with the new generation softwares, this can be done in extremely less time. This was the effect that I got. So I published this concept online during the lockdown period. This was extremely well received by a lot of people from the industry. A lot of people from existing car company, they messaged me online and they said this is a very good concept. Two designers from a big company, they said this should be a reality in India, and let's hope it gets noticed by some people up there in the industry. Let's hope we see an Indian supercar on the roads. Again, a roadster version. In the 3D software, when you do 3D modeling, it is extremely easy to make variations of the existing model. It is not possible on a physical model. So imagine you have a real car standing in front of you, a real prototype, and if you want to change something in the real prototype, you have to go through a big chain of process, and then you get to this effect. But in 3D, that is not so. You can hide some parts, you can unhide some parts, you can paint some parts, you can delete some parts, you can cut it, you can create variations within minutes. So this is the area to watch out for in the future. 3D design is going to take over the automotive industry world. The plane is not made by me. It is a ready-made 3D file that I imported into the software. Also, I was testing a new system which has a new type of graphic card, which is called as NVIDIA RTX. And what will be the Indian Air Force version of this car look like? So this was the idea that I had in mind. And what is RTX actually? So this is revolutionizing the automotive industry on a big scale. 10 years ago, when you imported your model into a rendering software, you had to wait for few hours to see the output. The software used to calculate light, shadow, everything. It took hours and hours. But now, thanks to the new technology, which is called as real-time ray tracing, it happens in few minutes. Now, just to give an example, this was done on a classical graphic card, old generation graphic card, GTX 660. This took 35 minutes to render. The new graphic card did this in 4 minutes. That is how the industry is advancing. That is the speed at which the industry is moving ahead right now. So with this model, I hope I can inspire the future generation of designers that is coming, and maybe we can see a supercar that is made in India in the future. And yeah, that's it. So in a nutshell, if you want to become an automotive designer, if you want to become any of the person from the automotive industry, any designer like a CMF or a UI UX designer, all you have to do is create a new experience. That's it, nothing else. And yes, thank you for your attention. Tejas?
Thank you, Satyajit. Satyajit, we have quite a bit of time left. Do you want to talk more about some of the aspects what you covered, because we still have time, and then we can go to Q&A.
Yeah, I think people can ask, then I can explain. If they want anything in particular, I can explain in detail.
Okay. So I request our viewers to, so the question and answer session will start now, and I'll request the viewers to post their questions on the comment section of the YouTube video which you are watching. Okay, so we have a question. We have a first question which asks, what is more profitable to design? A less expensive family car like that from Suzuki, or a high-end model like that of Bugatti, which will fetch a better pay?
Okay, I understand. Okay, so now it all depends on the customer. Now in India, every country is divided by income groups. So in India, we have a large population which lies in the lower income group. For them, the disposable income can be 5 to 10 lakhs. The max amount of the maximum size of the car that they can afford, maybe a family hatchback like the Celerio. So in India, definitely yes, it is more profitable to sell a Celerio, but in a market which is advanced like Europe, it is more profitable to sell a supercar.
Okay, thanks. Then we have a question whether a supercar in India have problems with speed bumps and careless driving from other people.
Of course, it will have, but we have to thank Mr. Dilip Chabria, in which he has done. He has already experimented with the Avanti, if you know the DC Avanti, and it has not faced major problems in India. Also, there are few rich people who enjoy Lamborghinis and Ferraris in India. So yes, it is possible, but not on a large scale.
Okay, then related again to your project of the supercar, someone is asking, small citizen, the name is, he's asking when are you planning to release? But I think you already mentioned that you're trying to push this to whoever could help you to move ahead of the project with the project. Okay. Then Chaitanya is again asking, how did you get a SUV look feel on Renault Kwid?
Okay.
And again, he's asking one more question: how long did you spend to design Renault Kwid's first version?
Okay, so Renault Kwid took 3 years. From sketch to the production model, Renault Kwid took 3 years. I was one of the Alias modelers on the team, so I did not have sketching inputs on this car, but I did have 3D modeling inputs on this car. So the designer spent almost like a year on the sketching, and there are some tricks. Now, if you see clearly on the side, there is a black cladding on top of the wheel. There is some black part which is put on top of the wheel. Now, when you see at first glance, this gives an impression of a bigger car, which has a bigger wheel. So there are some design tricks that designers use to create such effect. They also play with length and the breadth and the height of the car.
Okay. Then again, Chaitanya is asking, are automobile designers also responsible for making an electric car, or is that another field altogether in terms of design?
Of course, see, designer has to make a good looking car, that is given. But first, the interior of the machine has to be fixed by the company. Now, if you see here, in this field, the design engineer field, this is where the mechanical aspects of the car are taken care of. So let's say a new company wants to design an electric car. First, they have to make a platform, which is called a platform, which will have all the systems on it: the electric motor, the batteries, everything, the wheel, the seats, how much the weight will be, how much the length will be. And when everything is fixed, then the designers can start their job. So yes, everything has to be included, not just the designer.
Okay. Then again, we have a question about your fighter. What would be the approximate cost of the fighter?
It entirely depends on what material this car is made. Nowadays, there is a company called Koenigsegg, if you know. It's a Swedish company. They use carbon fiber on their car. Carbon fiber is extremely expensive to make. The material, uh, I will give you an example. If you just take out the bolts and nuts on the Koenigsegg, which are made of titanium, only the nuts and bolts of the entire car, they cost 80 lakh rupees. And if you have to put 80 lakh rupees worth of nuts and bolts on the car, you can imagine how much the rest of the parts will cost: the engine, the body, the tires, the rims, and it goes somewhere to around 10 to 15 crore rupees. If the material used is of low quality, then it can be of maybe few crore, 1 or 2 crore rupees. It entirely depends on the material.
Okay. Again, same question, question related to the same car. Is the fighter electric or a petrol or a diesel? What have you
Yes,
thought about it?
good question. So this is an electric car, and it has quad motors, two in the front, two in the back. 15. So now this model is supposed to make 1000 horsepower, and it is easily achievable for an electric car. If you will be seeing a new electric Hummer made by General Motors, which is making around 1500 horsepower. So this car will be electric, and electric cars are extremely fast.
Okay. Uh, then we have a question. Hello, sir. How much time does it take to make a 3D model of a vehicle on a software from scratch?
Okay. So if you want to create a very simple model, it can take around a week or even a day for a very simple model. Now, when I was working at Mahindra in Mumbai, the deadlines were extremely tight. So the deadline that they had given me was to make one seat in 1 week for this car. So that's the deadline you have to work with in the industry. And once you are well versed with the software, you can increase your speed. So let's say if you have to do this kind of detailing on a car, it will take you around two weeks or maybe 1 month if you work on it every day.
Okay. Then we have a question. Instead of Maya, why didn't you go for a Blender? Are they both different?
Okay, good question. Now see, Maya is a tried and tested software in the industry. Blender is a new entry. Blender is an open source software, which means it is freely downloaded and you can develop new plugins for the software. Maya has a set of dedicated engineers and software testers, also modelers, and Maya has been used in the movie industry since 1990s. So when you have to transfer data in the company itself, like I have shown here. So when you have to transfer data from one department to another department, it should not be corrupt. So Maya's pipeline is so strong and robust, the data never fails. So what data I have built, when I transfer it to, let's say, in USA, when they open the data in USA, it will be the same data. The same level of robust or the trustworthiness is not there in Blender right now. But in the future, yes, definitely companies are looking into Blender and they might use Blender.
Okay. Okay. Then we have few more questions. One is, what is the future of digital sculpting in automotive industry and why Alias?
Okay. Now Alias creates one of the lightest file by size on a PC. If you compare a CATIA file and if you compare an Alias file, there is a big difference for the file size. Alias has a mathematics called NURBS, NURBS, non-uniform rational beta spline. So this mathematical model creates very light and very beautiful looking model. Now, if you see on the production cars, the highlights that you get on the surface, they are very important. and Alias delivers accurate results with minimum file size. So Alias is a preferred tool in the industry.
Okay. Then, do you think physical clay modeling is still required when we have sophisticated digital softwares to model the car?
In this clay model, you can actually see how the model looks in the natural light and in the real world scale. In the digital model, you have to take a little bit more expensive path in which you have to install a big virtual reality facility at your design studio, and then you have to wear the goggle, and then from that you will get an idea how the car will look in real life. But the clay model, it will provide the feedback instantly in front of you. So I don't see clay modeling going right now. It will stay there unless virtual reality catches up with clay modeling.
Okay. Okay. Then we have a question saying you have worked with Indian companies like Ashok Leyland and Mahindra, and also with international ones like Suzuki, Renault, etc. What are the unique differences you found between the two?
It's a good question. It finally comes to the budget each company allots to the car. Now, um, let's say a company has a budget of 100 crores and it will develop a car with 100 crore rupees. But some companies, they don't have so much budget. So they will have a budget of, let's say, 20 crore or 50 crore rupees. And the manufacturing process used by those companies, they differ a lot. The material used by those companies, they differ a lot. And the final product that is going to be sold, is it going to be sold to uh, lower income group or higher income group? That defines the quality of the car or the vehicle. So in Europe, naturally, they have more income than the Indian population, and they can afford to use much more complicated processes. So yes, they can push the limit further. But in India, we are limited by some financial issues. So that's why we see little bit down grade of the quality. But again, that is changing. Every passing year, that is changing. Now, within, like, let's say in 5 years, I think Indian industry will catch up with the European industry.
Okay, okay. Let's hope for the same. Yeah, one more question. Do you see a future of car industry would see cars that are amalgamation of Grand Prix performance meeting a sports car look and yet be safe and fuel friendly electric car?
Sorry, could you repeat it? I didn't get it.
So, do you see in future the car industry would see cars that are amalgamation of Grand Prix performance meeting a sports car look and yet be safe and fuel friendly electric car? So whether you can see a performance like a sports car, but yet it would be fuel friendly and electric, or maybe electric, something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
the answer is yes. What I understand from this is the racing technology will be fueled down. It will finally come down to the production cars, because see, right now, even if you buy a supercar and if you go to a track, you are not as talented as a racing driver. So you don't need all the features that a racing car has. So in the future, when the manufacturers, they will like to stand out, and if, for example, say Ferrari, they want to say, I will put more technology in my car than Lamborghini, and I will make it as like a racing car. And if by doing that the sales are increasing, then they will do it. So finally it comes to selling of the car. If the customers demand that you need the racing technology in a car, yes, the companies will do it. But if the customers, they don't demand, then they will not do it.
Okay. Okay. Then uh, There is a question. It will be really nice to see the fighter drive along with the Wazirani Shul on Indian roads. I didn't understand.
Yes. Wazirani Shul is another concept car that is
Okay.
made in India. So there is a designer called Chunky Wazirani from Mumbai, and he has
Okay.
that car. It is extremely good. I hope it goes to the production phase because it is very difficult in India to justify a supercar, because um, how will you sell a 2 or 3 crore car to common Indian population? But let's hope for the best. Let's hope the Wazirani Shul comes on the road and the fighter comes on the road.
Okay. Again, a couple of questions. I'll just ask, say out two questions regarding the fighter. One is, have you made a clay model for the fighter? And again, are you planning to start selling? Yeah, so that is, I think, fine. But have you made a clay model?
No clay model has been done, but I would love to do a clay model in the future to get an idea of how it will look in the real world.
Okay, then there are two questions which are, sir, do you also design infotainment cluster as part of the interior design of the car, or it's a different job role? Then there is one question. On an average, it takes about 2 years for a concept car to reach the markets, maybe even more for cars of fighter level. How do you make sure the design still stays up to date, even after a few years? So these are two questions.
Okay.
One is
For
about the
the
infotainment, and other is about the future.
yes.
About, yeah.
So for the infotainment project, this is a very new area which is being developed in the automotive industry. This UI UX design. Now it is going to take off in a big way. People are used to using now touchscreen mobile phones. They want the same experience in an automobile, and they want everything in the automobile to have flashy graphics, futuristic graphics, and a nice refined experience like an iPhone. So yes, UI UX designer, now he is a special designer. It is a different field in an automotive industry, but yes, it will increase, and the demand for such designers will keep on increasing in the future. Now, I hope that answers the first question.
Yes.
Okay, now the second question. So if we bring this car into production.
Yes. So whether it, how do you see to it that it stays up to date even after maybe 2 years or 3 years from design to the launch?
Yes, the material, which material are we going to use to make this car? That will define whether the car becomes a reality or not. If we use extremely exotic materials to make this car, then this will push the price above 2-3 crore rupees. Then we will have to think how many people will buy this car in India. But if this car was made in another country where there are customers for such cars, then yes, it has a possibility. But again, when this data goes to the engineering team, they will test it and they will tell us again that some parts need to be changed. So this will not look the same when it goes to the production level. Some parts will definitely change.
Okay. Then there is a question asking, have you worked with video games to design vehicles or cars?
No, video games, they use polygon data, and there is a new software called as Unity and Unreal Engine. That is actually not a new software, but those softwares are used to create video games. So you need to have good skills in polygon modeling if you want to do modeling for video games. And no, I have not done it till now.
Okay. Then there are a couple of questions again related to the fighter, whether it is a one-seater or a two-seater, and one more question: when did you finalize the design of the fighter, or could you show the interior of the fighter? Whether have you worked on the interior?
No, I have not worked on the interior because my expertise right now is exterior A-class modeling. I have done like 90% work on the exterior till now in my professional design career. 25%, no, let's say less than 5% work I have worked on the interior. So no, I have not designed the interior, and this was done in the lockdown period. And through this project, I wanted to show the skills that I have acquired through 7 years of my experience in the automotive industry. As you can see here, if you can see on your screen, there are 2 seats in this already. And if you want to know further, it's loosely based on a car called as Pagani Zonda. The dimension of this car are based on a car called Pagani Zonda. It is an Italian car.
Okay, then I just missed one question. The question was, have you experienced a conflict between designers and automobile engineers around acceptance of design style plan during your prototype preparation?
Every day. The answer is every day. This happens because the designers, we like to dream a lot, and we dream that this will be a reality on the road, but it is not so. It has to have strength. The panels need to adhere to some criteria on the road. Now, if you take a very sharp model on the road and if it hits a pedestrian, it might kill the pedestrian. So such model will never be approved by the engineering team. So yes, there are always conflicts between engineering team and design team. Still, there are some good designs which fulfill all the engineering criteria and they look good in the end.
Okay, yeah. Then we have a question whether from an exterior styling perspective, why is electric car design different or from a normal petrol car design? Do you think in future the design language will change?
Yes, of course. There is a very simple reason for that. So in a petrol engine car, if you can see here, or let's say the Quid or the Duster, you can see there are open spaces in the front side. So we call this as the ICE engine, internal combustion engine, in which fuel is burnt and pistons are pushed, and that creates a forward motion. So for these engines, we need a lot of air to cool down because literally the engine is on fire inside. But in electric motors, we don't need so much of open space in the front. We don't need so much cooling. So we can cover the front part of the car, and you will definitely see a different design language on the electric cars. So the classical problems of internal combustion engine car, they don't apply to the electric car.
Okay, then we have a question. In India, we have so many professionals in IT, medicine, engineering, manufacture when it comes to Class A modeling. Okay, in manufacturing, when it comes to Class A modeling, we have very few resources. Do you suggest teaching Class A modeling in secondary school itself?
Why not? Why not? But if the student is interested, definitely he should go for classes. That's why classes like DQ Labs and DYPDC, they exist to nurture the industrial design talent. Definitely, I would suggest to include this in school.
Okay. Then there is a question: who can learn Alias, or what are the basic requirements to learn Alias?
You need to be creative. You don't need to be an engineer or a doctor or an IT professional to learn Alias. If you can operate a video game, you can operate Alias. It's that simple. It is like a video game. And when you learn some basic design, you will start to understand Alias better, much better. So a basic design education is recommended.
Okay. Then there is a question from Dhanasekaran Chennai. He asks, tell us about your passion on bikes. Which is your dream bike?
Hello, Dhaneshekaran sir. It was really good working with you on this project. So the the student should know Dhaneshekaran sir is from Ashok Leyland, and we had a very good time working with him in Ashok Leyland. And he knows that I like motorcycles also. I have a very big motorcycle called as Kawasaki Z800, and whenever I get time, I do ride it.
So he's asking, which is your dream bike?
So my dream bike will be, let's say, a Honda CBR 1000RR.
Okay. Then we have a lot of questions coming in. What are your suggestions, guidance to become part of the booming design role? What are the skill sets that are needed?
A creative mindset is needed. You need to be sensitive towards textures, colors, shapes, how the light is falling on a vehicle, or let's say any product. If you want to be a product designer, you need to be sensitive towards the design, and you need to be interested. You need to be passionate, hardworking, and in this field, it is never like you will push one button and the work is done. It is not like that. You have to work very hard.
Okay.
Like just an example I would like to give. When we were creating this car, so I went 4 days without sleep in our college. This was our thesis project.
Okay. Then a couple of comments regarding the fighter. The rear view mirror also resembles Pagani designs. Then whether you have a website where we can learn more about the fighter or your future projects.
You can check behance.com and you can put my name, or you can search FYTER and it will show you the project. Behance.com is a very good site to check the projects that are being done by designers all over the world.
Okay, can you spell it, Satyajit, for us?
HANCE.
Okay.
Behance.com or maybe behance.net, I think. I recommend all the design students to go through that site, and all the famous designers in the world, they post their work on that.
Okay. Then can we have such a car which can run on water in future? Then one more comment on the fighter. Lamborghinis and Bugattis are like the design of the fighter, even though they are not electric. Why?
Lamborghinis and Bugattis have the design of the fighter.
Yeah, are like the design of the fighter.
Okay, now this shape that you see, first it is inspired by the Sukhoi. And now sports car have achieved a basic formula where the driver should sit, where the wheel should be, where the drivetrain should be. So there is a fixed formula for that. So we can't change a lot on that formula. You will see a variation of the same form. Like for example, you can put the driver seat in front of the front wheel, or let's say in behind of the rear wheel. That is not possible. So even if the car is electric, this shape, this particular shape is proven to go fast around a racetrack. So I hope that answers the question. Tejas, you are mute. We can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a comment on again saying Bugatti is not even close to this. I think it would be the fighter. And is Alias also recommended for industrial designers?
Of course, yes. Definitely yes. Apple uses Alias.
Okay. Then there is a question: how long did it take to make this car? Maybe you can comment on how many hours or how many days or
So I
something
was
like
working on this car, let's say 5 hours per day, and it took me 1 month.
Okay. Okay, then also I would like to ask you, Satyajit, the question. Can you throw light on how students can uh, take their passion of sketching cars
Mhm.
or having a passion for cars
Mhm.
to creating their careers into automotive modeling or automotive design or automobile design? So how should they go about it? Because maybe they have a passion towards sketching cars, or they have a passion of maybe trying to sketch different things about automobiles, or trying to think something new about automobiles. What would be the future of automobiles? But how should they go about uh, from their passion to creating a career in automobile industry?
Okay. So if you have passion for car design or motorcycle design or product design or let's say industrial design in general, you have to sketch. So sketching is a given. You have to sketch at least let's say 100 pages in 1 month. 100 A4 pages. Let's say you have a sketchbook with 100 pages and A4 size 100 pages. You have to sketch on it. 1 month, one book should be completed. So you have to be perfect at sketching. Why? Because that is how you will convey your ideas to other people. So you might have your idea in your mind, but how do you convey it to the people? So for that, you need to learn basic sketching, perspective drawing, and after that, when you're good at sketching, you should really go online. You should join some online forums, design forums on Facebook, on Instagram, on Behance, and you will slowly come to know what is the required level. Once you are close to that level, you can definitely think about a career in automotive industry.
Okay, so we have more question. Can you? So there are two questions regarding Alias. One is, can you repeat what is Alias, and then can you give some brief on how Alias is different from other softwares like SolidWorks or Inventor?
Okay. So Alias is a surface modeling tool. SolidWorks and Inventor, they are engineering softwares. So now surface modeling tool like Alias, the importance is given to how the surface will look under lighting conditions. In the engineering software like SolidWorks or CATIA, sorry, excuse me. In the engineering software, when the 3D model is done, we can't actually judge how the product will look under lighting conditions, or we can't judge how the surface will look in the real world. So that is why Alias is used as a industrial design tool. Also, it creates extremely high quality surfaces. So now if you see the surfaces on a car which need very high quality highlights, these are called as highlights, how the light reflects of a car. So you need that to be of extremely high quality, and Alias successfully delivers the end result.
Okay.
I think there is a confusion between engineering software and design software. So
Yeah.
so the engineering
Okay.
software is used here,
Uh,
etc., and the design
then
software is used here.
hello.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a question asking whether there is a windshield wiper to the fighter.
No. Very good question. Very good observation. No, there is no windshield wiper to this car. So let's say I will model it very soon. But now BMW has come up with a technique. They have developed a technology on which they vibrate the glass with some frequency, and because of that, the water never rests on the glass. So BMW is working on such technology right now.
Okay. There are a few couple of people saying Behance is not working. It says URL blocked. So maybe you can again at the end of the session you can again repeat the
Let me check. I will check on the internet.
website. Okay. Then there is a question: are you currently working on any car or automobile?
Yeah, Behance.net is working.
Okay, it is. So again, I would like to repeat to the viewers, it is behance.net, BEHANCE.net. Okay, so the next question is, are you currently working on any car or automobile?
No, not right now. I am into teaching profession right now, and let's see in the future, maybe I will join the industry again.
Okay. I have a question for you, Satyajit.
Uh-huh.
So, someone who is interested in taking up automobile design,
Uh-huh.
should they go in first for a bachelor's course in automobile directly, or a course in industrial design, and then they can switch to a specialization in automobile for their master's course?
See, I have seen bachelor level people getting good job in the industry. I have seen master's level people getting good job. Finally comes down to your skill. So if you have a very good skill just by doing a bachelor degree in design, like let's say example DYPDC in Pune, after that you can directly join into the industry. It depends on your skill.
Okay. Any more question, viewers? You can just type in the comment box. I think there are no more questions. If anyone has, kindly type in. Maybe we can wait for a couple of minutes. And also, Satyajit, would you throw light on how is it different, the automobile or automotive education in India or abroad? Whether are there any differences in terms
Yes,
of education?
yes, there are differences. Uh, let's say different categories of automobile exist in India. So there are family hatchback, family sedans, there are SUVs, there are luxury cars in India, and there are few supercars in India also. but the amount of cars sold in India, let's say the highest amount of cars sold in India are hatchback, like the Alto, I-20, uh,
Okay.
and the sedans or the mini SUVs, the subcompact SUVs. So in India, it is limited, but it is changing drastically.
Okay.
For example, Kia sold 9,000 Sonnets in 15 days. 10 years ago, this wouldn't have been possible. So in the next 10 years, the Indian automotive industry will be extremely different.
Okay. So we have more questions coming in. I don't know. There is a question. I want to design for Indian Air Force. How should I go about it?
Okay, if you want to design an aeroplane, there is a completely different industry which exists. So aeroplanes are not made by automotive industry because they don't need to sell aeroplanes in a showroom. They don't need to have good highlights on the aeroplane. And aeroplane is 100% an engineering product. It is not a automotive styling product. So if you want to design a plane, you have to go into the engineering companies.
Okay.
Some companies are Hindustan Aeronautics Limited and let's say Dassault Systems in France or Boeing or Lockheed in USA.
Okay. Okay. Then there is a question. Can you give some advice to an engineer turning to an industrial designer? How should I work and what all skills should I possess?
Okay, as I said, in a nutshell, automotive industry is create new experience. So this was a new experience in let's say an Indian supercar which was not there. And if you can think creatively, you can be successful in this way. So you have to work hard. You have to be good at expressing your ideas. Let's say a sketch or let's say a 3D model. And if you are very good at that, you can express your ideas clearly. Then you are very well fit for this job.
Okay. Then there are a couple of questions regarding the automotive industry. I'll read out both. UI UX in automotive compared with the IT industry is very different, and it is all known dimensions. Okay, it is a comment. Then with automotive industry, it's very organic. How should one mold his skill set with respect to the changing industry?
Very organic. What do you mean by organic?
I think it might be like it is changing or something like that.
So you have to constantly keep yourself updated with the new generation, the new design, the new trends in design. So right now the new trend in design is textures. A lot of textures on the car. You will see this in the coming generation of the cars, which was not there on the existing car. Now they are using some printed graphics on the body of the car, on the interior, on the seat, like a 3D graphic, not a sketch graphic, on which the material itself becomes the graphic. So that is the emerging trend. So you have to study new trends, and that is how you can be updated in the industry.
Okay, then there is a question from a design aspirant who is asking whether it is necessary to learn 3D software as design aspirants, like before you opt for a design bachelor's of design course. Yeah.
Right now, it is included in the bachelor course. So when you are going to learn automotive design, by default, you will be learning a 3D software. But even if before that you want to learn 3D software, yes, I would recommend you do that. You will become very well versed with the 3D software.
Okay. Uh, then again, couple of questions, 2 3 questions regarding this fighter. I think it's getting very popular, Satyajit. So, how did you come up with the design of the spoiler? Then, does the fighter have an aero brake? If not, why? And how are you supposed to open the doors of the car?
Yeah. Okay. So this is how I came up with the design of the fighter. So the design brief is a Sukhoi for the road. And if you can read on the top, Indian supercar inspired by Sukhoi. So you have to study the design influence of the Sukhoi, like how the cockpit is pointing out of the whole body and how it is gently integrated into the wings. And the same effect has been achieved on the 3D model. What was the next question?
Yeah, then regarding the spoiler, there is one question.
Okay. So the spoiler is again inspired by the two tail wings of the Sukhoi. Okay. I tried a lot of different spoilers and one of them looked really good. This is inspired by the two tail wings, and yes, it does not have an air brake like the Sukhoi. So in a Sukhoi, when it is landing, this panel at the back of the cockpit, it lifts up. So it is an air brake. So yes, that is a very good suggestion. We can make an air brake. And if you can see here, you can see there is something called as a part line. In the automotive industry, we call this as a part line. So if you see, the hinges are here. So it will open up like a gull's wing. A seagull bird, if you know a seagull, how the wings open, the door will open in the same way.
Okay. Yeah. Then so there is a question whether you what kind of user study did you do for the fighter project, or is it just an ideational one?
The basic objective of this project was to showcase my skills because I had not worked on my personal project since 2013. So after 2013, I got some time in 2020 to work on my own ideas. So this is my idea, and the user, the target of this car, it will be, let's say, Mukesh Ambani or Ratan Tata. They might buy this car, or Anand Mahindra.
Okay.
Or maybe the film actors of Bollywood.
Uh, yeah, so there is a question. Okay, so the comment was by the organic question regarding automotive. He says, I meant IT industry is about website and mobile screen, but with vehicles, the cluster dimensions vary with each car. Who are the majors in India dedicated to design infotainment system?
Okay, there are some dedicated companies in India which design the cluster. Example would be a company called Forestia. There is Vistion, Valeo, Johnson Controls, which is now taken over by a Chinese company called Adient. So there are these companies which design components for the car. So UI UX is actually taken by the components, but the designers, they work in the parent company, like let's say BMW, Mercedes, and whatever, Tesla. So the designers, they work in the main company.
Okay. Then someone is asking about what about the water car. I didn't get the question. And then what is career guidance to excel in UI UX of automotives?
UI UX, you again have to go through industrial design or automotive design course. Now DYPDC in Pune has started a UI UX course also regarding automotive design. So they have a course. So you can start from there after your project.
Okay, then again a lot of comments again on the fighter regarding, can you tell more about the fighter, like top speed and so that I'm not able to define the character line in this. Can you highlight it please? And have you made the logo for the fighter?
No, there is no logo. The character line is this, which is inspired by, of course, again the Sukhoi. So this is the character line which defines the car. The top speed, let's say 1000 horsepower car with, let's say, 1.2 ton weight. That's a very positive estimation. It might go up to 350 kilometers per hour, theoretically.
Okay. Then someone is asking again about the fighter, whether it has a trunk space in the front or the back.
Very good question. Very good. So now people are coming with a new term which is called as frunk. So trunk in the front side, which is called as frunk. So if you see some cars like Porsche or Ferrari or Koenigsegg, they all have frunks. So this car will also have a frunk.
Okay. Then someone is asking about is hydrogen-based cars the future, or can we make or develop a water car in future without petrol or diesel?
Water car, they were into the technology, but what happens? You need a lot of control over the quality of water that goes into the car. Also, hydrogen is explosive material, so they need to do a lot of research before they can make it safe, so it doesn't explode on the road. Also, electric car is not 100% safe right now because it doesn't have direct emission, but it does have indirect emissions, because when you extract lithium in the nature, you create a lot of waste in the factory. So even if you're not creating the smoke from the car, the lithium ion which goes into the batteries, it will create a lot of waste in the factory. So people are going towards it. Let's see what happens. Right now, electric car is the most favored, easy option that we can see.
Okay. Then someone is asking, is a methane car true? Or, yeah.
I have not seen a methane car. Maybe someone might have developed it, but not in a mass produced scale.
Okay. Okay, I think we had quite a bit of questions for you, and I think our viewers or the automobile enthusiasts who have attended today's session would be quite happy to have known you and your work, and known more about automotive modeling or even automotive design. So I'm very grateful for you to you that you could share your experiences with us, Satyajit.
Thank you, Tejas. Thank you for inviting me. Thanks to DQ Labs, and I also feel it is a good thing that I could inspire the upcoming generation of designers in India. Let's
Okay.
see. Let's hope we can see something like this in the coming years in India.
Okay, thank you, Satyajit. Once again, I would like to thank you from behalf of DQ Lab and also the viewers. And we will again be back for an e-meet next Sunday. So be in touch. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.